All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Falcons podcast, your source for Atlanta Falcons podcast, recording all over the Atlanta area and America in general. As always, I am your host, Joe Carlino, one of your hosts, by the way, because I can't do this by myself. I got to have my partner, my crime fighter. And I won't go sidekick because he's just as passionate about Atlanta as I am. And if anything, maybe we could be a hero-villain combination. It's Tyler Vining. What's going on, Tyler?
Nothing much, Joe. What's been going on, man? Felt like it's been a minute since we've done one of these, but glad to be back and glad to be back talking about some Falcons football, especially with things starting to ramp back up, getting ready for the new season. So,
yeah, it's definitely been a very interesting setup for Atlanta and everything for the future and all that. I mean, like you just said, free agency has just started. So, we're going to be figuring out what's going to be going on with our team and everything because we don't have cap room. We got to at least start with that. We don't have cap room. We just saw the reports. I mean, Dante Fowler takes a pay cut, which to most Atlanta fans, I believe, is a smart move. And even he said it, like he has alluded to it, that last year was not his year. And he wants to come back, prove himself. So taking a pay cut, that's a way to prove yourself. Give some money back, help out with the team. That's a team player. I like it. The one that I really think everybody was just like, do we touch it? Do we not touch it? Is Ryan's deal. And I just don't know. I really don't. What's your thoughts on that?
I think we even saw it in the interview where I saw where Terry had said some things about like he didn't see that there was much of an option. He felt like his hands were kind of tied, that Ryan's deal had to get touched because they needed a way to get under that cap. And I'm sure they're trying to find ways to create at least some spending money, I would hope, to do something. But, I mean, right now, honestly, it's feeling pretty like – I feel like I'm out in the Wild West just watching like tumbleweeds just go around with nothing happening. But – I think it was a smart move to touch Ryan's contract. I don't think there were some people whenever it first happened that were like, oh my gosh, this locks us into Ryan forever and all that. Really, it doesn't. I mean, what you're doing is just transferring $7 million to the next season and then the season after that for Ryan's contract. So I think the cap hit I saw is going to be like $8 million if they were to do like a post June 1st cut or something like that. So, I mean, you could still move on for Ryan if it was needed for you to do. I don't think that they're going to. I got a feeling. I think quarterback's still in play at 4, honestly, to groom someone. But as far as Ryan's contract, I think it was a smart thing to do to touch it and to help restructure it and do a max restructure at that. So that way we can clear up some room.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough at first for me because I think I was kind of in that boat of fans. I was like, I just don't feel like we needed to touch it. But then I slept on it, and then I actually went on over the cap, and I looked it up. I was like, okay, let me see. Because I also thought his deal expired next year. Mm-hmm. And then, we get off of him in 2022, clean break. Come to find out it's 2023. So we have an extra year of Ryan at $48 million if we cut him next year, and then I think it's like 36 if for 23, and then it's a clean break. So I mean, it was an interesting one. I mean, I think really his was going to be like that last gasp option, because I don't think they were going to go to Grady, and I don't think they were going to go to Debo. I really think like those two probably should have been, first, and then maybe go to Ryan. And who knows? Maybe they did go to those two. They're like, I'm not really feeling it this year. Maybe, next year and all that. It could be a possibility. And they're like, okay, let's go to the quarterback, because, Fontenot has already met Ryan, and I think it was the opening of a medical facility in Atlanta, I think is where they met each other. And, maybe who knows, maybe they've even developed a relationship, from the division rivalry. I mean, we just saw Drew Brees retired, and Matt Ryan, makes a nice post to Brees because, for 13 years we had that rivalry with Brees. We see the team post a very, very funny tribute video that, we thank you, Drew Brees, but we won't miss your ass. We won't miss it. What was your thought on that, the tribute video, and what are you going to remember the most about Brees? Keep in mind, we're Falcons fans.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do have a lot of respect for Drew Brees. I think what he's done for the game of football, I mean, he's brought a lot of people to come and want to play the game of football. So I don't have much bad to say about Drew Brees, honestly. I mean, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. And honestly, a part of me is going to miss that back and forth between him and Ryan. But I think Brees is getting out for the right reasons, to spend more time with his kids and his family. So I really don't have much bad to say about Brees, other than the fact that he chokes a lot in the playoffs. But other than that, and has won Super Bowl, I see, so I can't even really touch it. So unless you want to go in Bounty Gate, but we're not going to do that here.
No, we're not going to go that far. I mean,
but Brees, yeah, I mean, great career. It was definitely, I think, in a lot of agreeing with Saints fans, I do think it was time for him to retire. But yeah, happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I mean, I'm going to miss the rivalry in a sense, because I've said it before, at least for my lifetime, because, again, we weren't alive when it was the Neon Dion time with that rivalry. We weren't alive with the Grits Blitz dynasty. We were infants when our division had the San Francisco 49ers in it for some otherworldly reason. I mean, how still it doesn't make sense how two teams in the southeast corner of America have to play a team in the west coast of America. It still baffles me. And then also you had the Bucks at one point. They were in the AFC West when they first started, and then they were in the NFC Central playing the Bears and the Packers and the Lions. And it's just like, thank God for division realignment in 2002, if you ask me. Getting back to Brees, I respected the hell out of him, and that's why I wasn't. I mean, yeah, I got mad when we lost to the Saints because it's a division rivalry. That's the first tiebreaker in playoff seeding and everything. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get too mad about losing to the Saints as I would normally because of Brees. I knew what kind of excellence he did, bringing the ability, and I mean, he was 6 foot. We're taller than him, and we're sitting in a chair, and we're probably taller than Drew Brees, which makes it funny. But 80,000 pass yards, 571 touchdowns, a 68% career completion percentage, I think is what they said. I mean, any person who says that dude's not a Hall of Famer is obviously delusional. It's just a matter of, will he be first ballot? Are they going to hold the MVP, like the one MVP, no, my bad. He never won an MVP. I'm thinking of Matt Ryan that won an MVP, and they're probably going to, try to say, oh, but he never won a Super Bowl ring, just like they'll probably do with Brees. He won a Super Bowl, but he didn't win a regular season MVP. It'll be like they'll find something to nitpick on. Somebody will. But I think I got two great memories I'll remember most fondly about Brees. The first one, when we picked him off 5 times in the Georgia Dome and ended his consecutive game with a touchdown pass, which I think Matt Ryan broke, if I'm not mistaken. Matt Ryan has that record now for most consecutive games with at least one touchdown pass. And I don't know where. Look, ESPN also had a couple of problems with that too. I watched First Take, and they're like, Drew Brees was traded from the Chargers to the Saints. No, he was signed. Mm-hmm. He had the longest consecutive game with a touchdown pass streak. Pretty sure Matt Ryan broke that. There was a couple of things, stats and info probably has to refresh their database with. But the more recent one that I'm very fond of, and I think you remember this one, Tyler, Thursday night game, new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. He throws it to his tight end, and a nice giant 45 just jumps like sky high into the air and picks it off in the end zone and is dragged out of the end zone by Devondre Campbell and Rico and Kiki and all them. And then you see Sean Payton, you're like, they're going to choke. They're going to choke. Oh, wait, you guys choked. We won.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite memories. Like, that's one of my favorite Falcons memories in general. But that's definitely way up there with the Falcons Saints memories.
Yeah, again, we salute Breeze's career. We wish him the best. And now it'll be time for Atlanta to show the Saints, why we're the team to beat, to go and challenge that team in Tampa that nobody really cares about anymore. Now they're saying that, the Chiefs couldn't compete on our level. They beat you on your field in the regular season. Yes, we know, Victor go the spoils and all that stuff, but it's like, what happened? What happened then? Like, talk then. Don't talk after you win, because you're talking a lot of talk, even though, yes, you re-signed Levante, you re-signed Shaq, you re-signed Gronk. But keep in mind, your hardest challenge in that last games of the regular season, your closest to a loss, came against us. And if we didn't figure out a way, like all season long, just figured out a way to give the game away, you wouldn't have gone 8-0. You would have gone 7-1, probably, maybe, who knows, maybe even 6-2, because you would have lost in the playoffs, because it'd be like their mindset changed. But hey, you were down 17 at 2 points, and Atlanta just said, you know what? Here's a win. Having we don't want it. We want a high draft pick. So here you go. We'll be nice to you for once. Yeah. I mean, you're still the sucks for a reason. Even though
going off of that and blowing leads and stuff, Nathaniel said, I feel like the Falcons need to get a defense. Falcons have always had a quarterback and weapons since they drafted Matt.
He's definitely right.
I mean, he's got a point.
He is definitely right. I mean, the only top 10 defense in Matt Ryan's career was the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And even then, we were their toughest challenge. They destroyed the Vikings, but that was after the Minnesota Miracle. Hey, Drew Brees, how you doing again? A little throwback to you. But then they had the Patriots game, and that was literally just an offensive juggernaut game. So it's like, I really don't know. I mean, our team gave you the hardest challenge, and then everything went downhill after that, and everybody said the locker room just didn't believe in the brotherhood anymore. So we'll see with that. But speaking of that brotherhood, we've lost a lot of guys because of the cap hit. We had to get rid of Ricardo. We had to let Ricardo go, sadly. Did he? I think they said he signed with Cincinnati, right? Or is he still?
I think I believe that he visited. I don't think he's signed yet.
I can't remember, but I know we had to cut him, and really, you haven't seen a negative post about him at all, because you won't. You simply will not find a negative thing to say about Ricardo Allen. And then you cut Alan Bailey, but that was just a casualty hit. It's no big deal. The one that really hurts me is, and it hurt you too, is Keanu Neal. That one is the one that hurts the most. And unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be I hope we can bring him back, even if it's a 1-year deal. Like, we let him go so we can start fresh, and then maybe next year we give him a long-term extension. Because it's like, I really like the guy. I really do. I mean, I said it to you privately, Tyler. My high school that I went to is literally maybe an hour away from me. It's an hour away. Unfortunately, his high school didn't play my high school until after he graduated from high school. But when he played, his high school we nicknamed it the breeding ground because they just had team after team after team after team. Mm-hmm. So I hope that we can at least get him back. I mean, allowing him to test the market is fine. It helps, see his value. And he's got a bunch of preliminary interest, most notably from a certain team with a certain defensive coordinator that drafted him. What's that team again? I'm blanking.
I believe it would be the Dallas Cowgirls.
Cowgirls? Yes. Wait, that. Right. Because they got Q now, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there. I mean, if he goes to Dallas, I mean, he's reuniting with the guy who drafted him. But needless to say, Dante Fowler was recruited to UF by Quinn when he was there. So maybe
this is actually something interesting that I just saw about Keanu. He evidently has been telling teams that he's open to playing linebacker.
He's open to playing linebacker. Ooh. Well, I mean, the thing is that he plays strong safety, but he definitely likes to play up in the box. So that's definitely a good trait to have, especially at strong safety. And I mean, I saw that report from Vic Tafur, who reported that we signed Eric Harris, and I'm like, who the heck is Eric Harris? That was the first thing I looked at. And then my guys over at Blog and Dirty in our group meet chat, one of them posted a video, and it was him getting he got torched by Robbie Anderson. He was phenomenal at this open field tackle. Like, wait a minute, open field tackling. Where have I heard that before? Oh, right, it was us.
Dude, I don't know. Like, listen, as much as I really want to trust the new front office and new head coach, like, being a Falcons fan, you're just skeptical about everything. And right now what I see is an aging safety that we just brought in whose stats don't look good, Jalen Hawkins. And then I'm like looking around the rest of the room and I'm like, what are we doing? Because unless you're sitting here and you're going to plan on drafting 3 safeties in the draft, how are you going to fill out that room? Because you've got to have your starters. And if we're being honest, I prefer to have starters with some experience. And then you're going to bring in these rookies, throw them in at NFL game speed, however many you draft, because Lord knows that room needs help. And they're going to be expected to go in there and fill in the gaps. And that's
and as much as I agree with that, I mean, recency bias, we technically have one instance of a rookie going in at safety that the defensive back room, there barely was anybody that, had quote unquote veteran experience. And that was Antoine Winfield. Mm-hmm. And of course, he could have been with us if we would have just drafted him. It would have been nice. But, of course, he gets picked up in the second round by Tampa because we, let him slide by us. And so speaking of that, let's at least look at the draft, because that's something that we've been talking about forever, because, of course, the 0-5 start will get you talking about the draft because you're probably not making the playoffs after 0-5. So you're looking ahead at the draft. You're just like, okay, what is going to happen here? Where are we going to go? Who are we looking at? And mock after mock after mock after mock, I see two of the same guys. It's either Justin Fields from Ohio State or Trey Lance from North Dakota State. I will be honest on both of them. I'm not too sold on either of them, no matter how much I want to be. As much as I want to be, just something is just screaming a negative, like a red flag to me on either of them. For Trey Lance, yes, it's that inexperience factor. Yes, the fact that he only threw one interception in his entire college career. That's huge. I watched his pro day. The dude can ball. He had good feet. He had good placement. He hit on a go route. He hit the guy perfectly. It just had that arch, like it was perfect. I mean, he did miss a couple of throws here and there, but that's to be expected. And then you find out he was running like throws, and they were running routes for a Arthur Smith / Kyle Shanahan like system. Yes, that helps. But again, I just don't know what to do with him. And then Justin Fields, and I've said this to you multiple times in the past, I just can't get past the stigma of the helmet of the college that he's coming out of.
Yeah.
I just can't. As much as I would love for, and according to everybody, he's from Georgia. He grew up with the Falcons, much like Deshaun Watson did. That he grew up with the Falcons. Deshaun Watson was a ball boy for Atlanta. Who knows? Maybe Justin Fields was too, and I don't know this. He went to Georgia. He transferred to Ohio State. So maybe there's a little bit of, okay, I'll give you that. But he's going to be drafted from Ohio State. The last quarterback that got drafted in the first round from Ohio State is an absolute bust. He's so bad, he got cut from a team with no name. I just don't know. I personally don't know. I want to think they're going to do well.
If it was me and I'm picking, I'd take, and this has gotten some flack already from some people, but I would say Trey Lance over Fields. And that's mainly because I think that Trey Lance fits the scheme better with Arthur Smith. I think he's a guy that if you do draft him, he's going to need some time to develop, because you can tell there's some things there that still need to be developed further. That's just because he hasn't had enough playing time. So I think that he's a guy that if you do draft him, it's in the right position to teach him, because he can get better at looking around the field. He can get better about finding the spots here and there, scanning the field, pre-snap motions, all that kind of stuff. And he can do that well under Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan's great at all that stuff. And he's from a guy who's, and once again, we can say arguably going to be a Hall of Famer, but he would learn under Matt Ryan, and that's a pretty good quarterback to learn from.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of, like, let's say we do take a quarterback, learning under an established veteran is definitely a plus. I will throw that out there. I will acquiesce to that mindset. I will. I personally will. I want the stigma to, I want to be so wrong on those stigmas. I do. Just right now, at this point, gun to my head, I can't do it. I can't break that stigma, because inexperience is one thing. And yeah, people are like, oh, look at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, I mean, yes, now he really does have technically a terrible threesome in a top 5 receiver in Nuke, a reliable veteran in Larry, and AJ Green, who they just signed. So let's see how he does there. And then, of course, the main one, Mahomes, only started, I think, 14 games in college, lost 66-10 at Texas Tech. And he's a Super Bowl champion, an MVP. We see what he can do And we saw what our defense somehow still can do to him. Still 3 months later, still trying to figure it out. Somebody help me out with that. I want to be wrong. I want to be so wrong. It's just right now I can't shake it. It's like that gut feeling. I can't shake it.
I mean, if it were up to me, I wouldn't want to draft Lance at 4. I would try to trade down to draft Lance if he's still available. And if he wasn't available, draft down again and build up the capital. Because we have, like, I'm gonna shoot it straight. We have so many holes that need to be fixed right now. And that has me worried about the upcoming season. Because I can see what needs to be done on the team and what needs to be filled and what needs to be fixed. And it looks like, at least for right now, because our free agency news has literally been pretty much nothing. So it looks like they're going under the notion that they're going to fix it with the draft. And I don't know if they're like trying to do like a half win now, half rebuild thing going on here. But typically you got to pick one or the other. You're either win now or you're rebuild, because it's hard to do one or the other and try to go win now and make it to a Super Bowl while you're trying to rebuild, because it's tough to do. But I guess we'll see. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen, some people talking about maybe we'll take Kyle Pitts at 4. I don't really think I want him to be good too. I just don't know if 4 is right there. I mean, he'd be only the second tight end drafted in the top 5 in NFL history. But do we really need him? Not so much. I mean, Hayden Hurst, I really want to see what he does in this Arthur Smith offense. We just traded him catch, which is good. So having a 2 tight end system is definitely nice. It's definitely a positive.
We have 3, because we've got Hayden Hurst, we've got Lee Smith, and now we still have Jaden Graham because he was re-signed. So
forgot about Jaden Graham.
Dude, I think that he is a lot better than he's gotten credit for. The dude has got wheels, and he's an athlete. I like Jaden Graham a lot. But so we'll see if he fits in. But Lee Smith, they brought him in. He's primarily the blocking back. I mean, he literally looks like a lineman, but as a tight end. So,
yeah, I mean, and then over at Blog and Dirty, I read the article from one of our guys over there who did a mock draft from Pro Football Network. He actually picked Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. He says we trade down to 10, and we picked Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. I'll be honest, never watched VT because, again, I don't really watch college football all that much. So I really, before we even started this, I should have disqualified myself. But personally, if you had to pick one of those two, Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, which one do you think would be better?
Which one do I think would be better? I'd probably go Patrick Surtain just because of the competition that he's gone up against. Going up against the SEC schools and things like that. I mean, ACC has some good stuff, but I don't know. I mean, they're kind of a toss-up. Like, it depends on what you're looking for out of your player. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about the scheme. It's all about what you're – like, I've liked Surtain for a while. So that's who I would trade down and try to get him if I were going to trade down. I also like some of the edge guys like Azeez Ojulari. I think he's a guy that's kind of going to be one of those that's going to be sneaky good because I'm a huge Georgia fan and watched him play, and he didn't get a lot of credit, but I saw what he did.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard Ojulari is pretty good off the edge, and then I also hear our friend Alexis Kraft over at Downtown Rams. Shout out to her, by the way. She says that maybe we go Kwity Paye out of Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming he's a really good lineman. But then again, in the last 5 years, we did draft 2 edge rushers, and I don't know. Would you say the jury's out on those 2 guys?
Yeah, I would. I would say that this definitely clarified what they are. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna bring them up at all. So it's like, again, who knows? Maybe we right the ship there. I know I've beaten the drum on this one multiple times. There's one guy that if we get him, I don't care. We have won the draft in my eyes. I want Najee. I want him. He's just so good. The problem is nobody sees him going past Miami at 18. Nobody sees it. So do we get lucky? Maybe we trade back in the first round and pick him up. I honestly don't know.
We could. Another thing that I like Najee a lot. Najee's great. I would love getting him on the team. I think he'd fit the Falcons so good. Williams, though, is another guy at running back that may have that UNC connection with Arthur Smith. I really like how he plays. I don't know if you've watched any of his film, but dude is a monster.
I'll be honest. I saw some tweets, and I mean, if you want to consider them like highlights and stuff like that, I mean, I probably would personally. I mean, I don't really follow college sports, and eventually maybe I'll learn the scouting area. Understand the ebbs and flows, because I mean, like, I'm looking at the Senior Bowl weigh-ins and the Pro Day weigh-ins. And I'm like 5.095. I'm like, what is this? Like I just don't get like that stuff personally. So I gotta learn that. I gotta learn RAS scores. I mean, what I can tell you is at the Super Bowl, I did the 40-yard dash. I ran it in 6.4 seconds. No, my bad. No, not 6. No, I did it once at 6.4, and then I did the second one at 5.91. And apparently the second one I got faster from high school. And I was not fast. So, NFL, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna be a practice squad guy. Just get me out there. I'll put on some pads. I'll run around.
Hey, listen, if Falcons can't figure out what they're going to do at safety, we may have to put on pads and go out there and play, Joe. So, I mean, never say never, man.
Yes, I'll sign the dotted line. I got my pen right here. Atlanta, just forward me a contract. There we go. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm theirs.
Your new starting safety.
Oh, people are going to call me more of a bust than anybody else that Atlanta's ever had before. But I mean, I want Najee. If we had to go the draft in the secondary, that kid from TCU, Trevon Mowry, he looks really good. So
the good thing about this draft is that there's a fair amount of good safeties. So, I mean, you got I believe it's the Darius Washington. You got Cisco. You got Richie Grant, Richard LeCount. There's a bunch of good guys in there that you can find.
Isn't Asante Samuel's son also in this year's draft?
Yes. Yeah, he's a corner.
He's a corner, but if any, I mean, I'm assuming he probably has played safety before at some point, so maybe he has a little experience there. Who knows? Maybe even his father taught him, what to do as a safety. I mean, who knows? Maybe we pick him up. I mean, we did have his dad in Atlanta for a brief spell, and he did pretty good for us. So, I mean, we have a decent amount of holes to fix on. I won't go so far offense as defense. Defense, let's be real. We've had holes on there probably since they invented the hole. But offense, the only one I can really see is left guard because I really think they're going to move forward with Hennessy at center unless, and because of Miami signing center today, it basically comes down to Green Bay and Atlanta for David Andrews. And David Andrews was a pretty good center in New England. Last I recall, didn't he block for a certain quarterback in New England?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, a certain person that has now screwed not one but two teams quarterback wise for the rest of all of humanity.
Yep.
Because let's be real, New England, I don't care what quarterback they get in the future or futures for that matter, they're all going to be screwed because those fans are going to be like, oh, what are you going to do to match Brady? What are you going to do for him? Oh, you're not living up to Brady's expectations. Oh, Tampa.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in the same boat. Maybe it's even that boat that that you have in Raymond James Stadium. You're both gonna be on that boat of screwed at quarterback for the future because you both had the GOAT and now you're gonna have to replace him. And Bucks fans can be a little. I'm not gonna group them all in this. I'm not gonna do that. There are some bad eggs in the Bucks fan base, but there's a lot of good ones. And again, we had a great one. A few at the end of the season, we had Big Nasty talk football with me, so I can vouch for them. They have a lot of good fans. They do have some bad ones, but let's be real. You signed Brady, you extended Brady, you're paying Brady $41 million this year. Still probably not as much as Giselle makes every second. But now you're screwed. Once Brady's gone, now you got to figure out the fans are never going to gravitate to this quarterback because they have the Brady syndrome. And I even said it to my boss who's a Pats fan. It don't matter who you get a quarterback, they're screwed.
Yeah, but it's okay, though. They have Cam Newton, right?
Yes, and that was actually something that they also had talked about, my brother and our boss, because they're both Pats fans. And he was like, you want to take Deshaun Watson over Cam Newton? And my brother's a pretty big Cam fan. I mean, he's as big a Cam fan as a second that jersey was available on NFLshop.com. It was gone faster than the Xboxes at Walmart.com right now. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I do know that I'm marking it down right now. It is March 18th as we are recording this, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I say the Falcons are the hardest challenge for the Bucks to win the division because I actually saw it in a trash talk group. We saw the Saints swept the NFC South last year, correct? In the regular season? Yeah, there's this one guy who said that the Bucks are going to sweep the division next year. No. Like Dikembe Mutombo in that Geico commercial. No, today. Because Bucks fans, you got to remember, before we choked, again, spoiler alert, I probably said it, at least like 3 times in this episode already. We gave you your hardest challenge in the end of the regular season. Not Minnesota, not Detroit, definitely not Detroit. Not us in week 17, but week 15, your hardest challenge was us because we had just came off of that game against the Chargers where everybody was ready to get off of Ryan right then and there. And then literally that first half, it's like, oh my God, Ryan is carving up this defense. And then the second half, some things happen.
I really hope that with this new front office, head coach, staff, everything, that if nothing else changes, please let the choking change. Please, Terry Fontenot, if you're listening, please change the way that this team and franchise chokes games away. And honestly, you will cure a lot of Falcons fans, because you know what, Joe? I don't know how much more my heart can take with whenever my blood pressure gets way up. I'm not sure how much longer before it ends up actually sending me away to the ER or something, because I can't do it.
Oh, I think I know about that, because again, it's happened to me too. But I think I know what's going to send you to the ER because your blood pressure is so high.
What is
it's
that?
Going to be because I feel like you're going to stay a fan as long as I'm going to be, and that's going to be until our last day on this planet. And that's most likely going to be that Sunday in February when the clock strikes 0 and the red and black confetti is flying and the Lombardi trophy is handed off to, I'd like to say Mr. Blank, but it's probably going to be one of his kids.
Yeah.
Who knows? Might not even be the Blank family. Who knows?
At that point, I'd say take me. I've lived a good life.
Yeah, like that. I've said it multiple times. That's probably going to be for me. The day Atlanta wins the Super Bowl is probably going to be my last day on this planet, because I will have died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, I'll even be Squilliam in the episode of SpongeBob. Just, ow.
I've said before, it's going to happen one of two ways. Either like right before I die, I'm going to call the Falcons and say, hey, I'm going to need y'all to show up to my funeral just so that way you can let me down one last time. Or it's going to be we win a Super Bowl and something like that happens. So,
I mean,
really,
again, I'm marking it down. We are going to be the challenge for them this year. Who knows? Maybe the Saints. I mean, I'm still gonna have the Saints as as my early season, division winner, just off the fact that they've won it 4 straight years, and our division is the best in football. I don't care what anybody tries to tell me. The South runs the show in the NFL. I don't care about the fancy toys in the West, even though one team apparently was offered Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks and 3 first-rounders for Russell Wilson, and they said, nah, we're good. I don't care about that division. I don't care about Matthew Stafford leaving a porous division and now basically has gift-wrapped the NFC North again to Aaron Rodgers. I don't care about the worst division in football, the NFC least. I don't care about the AFC East. The AFC North, and Big Ben's on his last limbs. It's Lamar. Baker's doing well. And I got to see more Burrow. The AFC South, need we say more? Need we say more about the South there?
No.
And then the AFC West, it's Mahomes and Herbert. And that's it. So I personally do not care. Our division is the best. And Tampa, your fans, you want to talk all you want about you're going to sweep it. Not if we have anything to say about it. We are coming for you guys. We are going to prove to you guys that if you want – I'm going to use the old Ric Flair adage, because right now they're the man because they're the champs. To be the man, you have to beat the man. Mm-hmm. And even so the Bucks, while they're the NFL's man by virtue of them being the Super Bowl champions, the man in the division is New Orleans as the division champions for 4 straight years. So to be the man, you gotta beat the Saints. And who knows? Maybe even Jameis somehow wins it for them a 5th year. Who knows? I mean,
I just hope I want to see the Falcons go back to the playoffs so bad. Like, I don't even need them to go straight to the Super Bowl or something. I just miss playoff football, watching it here instead of watching other teams play.
Trust me, I'm in that boat, because I mean, let's be real. I'm pretty sure Atlanta would have given the Saints a bigger challenge than the Bears did.
Mhm.
The Falcons probably would have given the Rams a tougher challenge than they did. And then, I mean, we didn't need to see Tampa versus Atlanta round 3 because we saw Tampa versus New Orleans round 3, and we saw what happened there. Jared Cook fumbles a ball, and it's off to the races there. But going at it, let's see. Tampa's probably going to be back in the playoffs again unless, everything just goes downhill. That, injuries pile up, defense doesn't play well, offense, has a couple of bad games here and there. So barring that, they'll probably be back. That's 1. Green Bay, terrible division. That's 2. NFC West, I'll put my hat in the Rams. I'll put my name in the Rams hat for now, but I will not be surprised if Arizona makes a run. Won't be surprised. That's 3.
Man, Arizona's building a pretty good team.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, so won't be surprised there. That's 3. NFC East, who cares? Really, who freaking cares about that division until they show something? Who cares? So then you got the 3 wild cards. I don't know if New Orleans can do it, so maybe Atlanta has a shot there. We know pretty much no team else in the NFC North. I don't trust them. I don't trust the NFC East, as I said prior. So maybe we sneak in as a 6 or 7. Because also, if you think about it, let's see. We beat let's say we fall in the football. We beat the Cowboys. That's a win. We don't let Nick Foles beat us. That's a win. Matt Ryan doesn't throw an interception in the end zone. We sweep Carolina. Todd Gurley doesn't fall in the end zone. We win that game. And then you add in that you can also add in the Chargers game of Matt Ryan. Really, there's so many games that you just flip one little thing. Atlanta was in the playoffs last year. Mm-hmm. It's hard to deny that, even with as poor as a defense. I don't care. We were 1 and done. The fact that you make the playoffs is enough for me.
That's the thing. Like, the offense can carry this team, honestly, probably to the playoffs. Just with the offense. I am very excited, though, to see what Dean Pease does to the defense.
I am too, and that's the thing. Like
about Arthur Smith with the offense, I like the way that he runs his offense. I think doing like pre-snap motions and stuff with Matt and kind of bringing back the bootlegs and all that kind of stuff, like that's going to be fun. Like play action passes is Matt Ryan's bread and butter.
It is, and
whenever
even better,
and he's running play action, my God, he's scary.
Yeah, and again, even better with. Or just any team in general. Shannon Sharp said it perfectly today on Undisputed because they were talking about Levante David, talking all that flack about how the Chiefs weren't on their level. But it's like, help me out. Any team worth their while, because he even said it. The late great Al Davis once said it. Within the first few series, the quarterback on the opposing team needs to go down and go down hard. And last time I checked, if your quarterback is upright, you're going to be pretty hard to stop, especially in this, pass happy, offensive friendly league where personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 94, 15-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
Yeah.
So it gets you wondering what'll happen there. I mean, we got to see what goes on moving forward, but I'm not about to just chastise any decisions. At least in the short term, I need to see time. I need to see it play out. The fact that we have the restructures, give cap room for the draft picks is definitely good. And then potentially having $111 million in cap room in 2 years is pretty damn good, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But of course, we're going to re-sign Ridley. We know that for a fact. We're going to re-sign him. Do we backload it or do we front load it is the real question, though.
It seems to me like we're starting to get in more trouble whenever we backload our contracts because, like, I feel like we get like a team set, and then by the time we reach all these contracts, these people and save money. So, if you don't front load it and if you don't backload it, at least just make it even throughout. I mean, we got to do something.
Yeah, it's like, again, like that's another area that I'm not the biggest person with knowledge on it. All I know is I see the reports, we got a signing, and then we go from there. Make an opinion, go from there. And just hope everything works out for the best. And again, I think we're going to be in contention this year. I'm not saying for Super Bowl because to me personally, you're only in contention for the Super Bowl when you have qualified for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's a personal preference to me. You have to be confirmed for the playoffs, and then I can talk about you being in contention for the Super Bowl because it just takes one play, one coverage, one missed tackle, anything. And your season's over. It's as simple as that. So,
I really there's so many things that are so up in the air with me about the Falcons. Like, I hope that they have a fantastic season. I hope they can get back to the way that they used to play football back in 2016, 2015 area. But I'm nervous for draft night. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, honestly. Like, sometimes I'm kind of like, we're probably going to go here. We're going to go there. But this is one of those, I have no idea where we're going. Like, I don't know if we're going to get back. I don't know if we're going to stay at 4. Are we going to take quarterback, edge, corner, safety? What are we going to do? Running back? Who knows what we're going to do?
Yeah, I have no idea at this point either. I just hope that whatever happens, we're going to give Smith and Fontenot, we're going to give them a chance because it's not right to just throw it out there and say, oh, they're going to fail right off the bat. You need to give them a chance. Like,
yeah, and honestly, these two signings that they've done so far with Eric Harris and Lee Smith, he's basically going to replace Luke Stocker, is what I'm seeing with that.
As long as he can catch, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Luke Stocker. Every single time Matt threw to him, I got nervous. And then Eric Harris, that's the only one that I'm kind of like, I don't know. I have a feeling he's just a depth signing, and evidently he's a good leader, like veteran leader. So maybe it's to like get somebody in the building to help these new rookies that are probably going to come in to like help, mentor them and teach them up some. But I also have it pulled up here. Like, we signed these guys, and then like our in-house re-signings, Matt Gano, we put the second round tender on him. Re-signed Christian Blake, Jaden Graham. I was so hyped whenever Jacob got re-signed, or whenever we picked up. And then Tyler Hall, we re-signed him, and Koo. So then we know Alex Mack left and went to the 49ers, back with Shanahan. And then McCray, he's gone off to the Texans. And then if you want to hear our giant list of free agents that are just out in the wind, we've got Benkert, Gurley, Hill, Treadwell, Powell, Stocker, Carpenter, Witz, Harris, Bailey, Means, Reynolds, Bleedy, Ray. I hope we do re-sign him. Darqueze, I hope we get him back. Keanu, I wish we could get him back.
I hope to God we can get him back.
We released Ricardo, KZ, I can tell you is not coming back, and Niesman. So
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens as the next month goes on. But for now, I really think that we just need to give it a little bit more time. Let them go out, and we'll see what happens with any signings. And
Mitch to the Bills and Kyle Rudolph to the Giants.
Mitch to the
Wow.
what?
Trubisky to the Bills. Why?
What? Oh. I mean, we know he's going to be a backup. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't know anymore. But that's going to be it for this episode of the Downtown Falcons podcast, everybody. We want to thank you very much for coming in, hearing us ramble away about Atlanta and our passion for it. Tyler, let them know where they can find you at, bud.
You can find me on Twitter at tvining13.
And you guys can find the Downtown Falcons page at DTSN Falcons. You can follow me on Twitter at JoeCarlino14. Check out our podcasts in the past where we just had Foye Oluwakin, Jacob Tuioti Mariner on. We've had Big Buck Nasty from the Bucks fandom. And who knows, maybe down the line we can get a guy like Jamal Anderson or somebody like that.
And before we get off of here, first I want to send our prayers and condolences to those family members and those who lost their lives in the shootings that took place over the week in Atlanta.
Absolutely, 1,000,000% there.
But just wanted to put that in here before we got off. So our thoughts and prayers with you all, and I know Atlanta will bounce back. So
absolutely, Atlanta will bounce back. Thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you guys on the next recording.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so time the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.